Kimuya, please help me. I opened the door and what I saw froze me on the spot. I witnessed the most horrible, monstrous scenes of my whole entire life. My name is Kimuya. Before sharing this story with you, please click on the notification button after subscribing to the channel. If the story touched you, you can help us reach more people by making a donation via PayPal. I've heard of twisted stories. In fact, in my neighborhood, a week will not go by without another scandal coming up. Neighborhood problems, dirty tricks between friends, sometimes even useless stories. I was already used to it, though it wasn't acceptable to me, but I didn't really have a choice. I had moved out of my parents' house 6 months ago, and complaining of my neighborhood to my parents would seem like whimpering, especially since they were still convinced that I didn't have to leave the house. You know you don't have to leave home, right? You'll always have a place here, at least until your husband comes and gets you. Mom told me when I expressed the wish to look for an apartment. Which husband are you talking about, Mom? I'm not even engaged yet. Your future husband, of course. One day you'll be married, young lady. So I should wait forever? No, I need to be a little more independent, Mom. Just say that you want to leave your poor parents alone in the house. Our only child doesn't want us anymore. Oh my God. But no, Mom, you've started again. Of course, I still want to leave you and live by your love, and especially your delicious meals, but I really have to go now. Mom knew how to use emotional blackmail to win me over. Anyway, it's just normal when you have only one child. You like to keep him or her forever. You might be wondering about my father. Well, my dad was always playing hard to get, but I could tell by the look on his face that he missed me even before I left. He never said it directly and just kept repeating, "Anyway, if you need something, I'm here." Dad, I know the tons of prayer you keep saying for me. Show your feelings. So I stuck to my word and left the house. With a heavy heart, Mom had finally had to decide to let me go. I found something close to my job site and I was going to work in no time. At first, everything seemed to be so calm in this neighborhood until the third day when I witnessed my first scandal. A young woman was accused of theft in the local market. That's when my dear neighbors told me that it was a routine in the area. I must say that I had messed up on that one because taking the first big decision of my life to leave my parents' house, I had fallen into a really terrible neighborhood. But well, it was my choice, my mistake, and I had to accept it. So I told myself that after a year, if it was still the same, I would move out of that place. At least I would have made enough of money already. However, I didn't know that year was going to be so long. I counted the days and weeks and it seemed to be endless. To escape, I spent most of the time at work, and during weekends, I spent it in church. Kimuya, why do I feel like you're running away from your home? Me? Running away from my home? What do you mean? You're always in the office even when you have nothing to do. You hang around till evening. Majo, I'm not really running away from my house, but from my neighborhood. I can't be comfortable for 2 seconds there. Noise here and there. It's not really a place where one can live peacefully. I'm literally suffocating. And why don't you move out? As if it was easy. The rent, and more importantly, my parents who are watching me are just waiting for an excuse to ask me to come back to the house. At least you have parents and they still want you around. You're really lucky, you know. But apparently you prefer to suffer the noise in your neighborhood. I guess that's part of growing up too. I feel sorry for you anyway. So you can, if you want to, of course, come to my house once in a while instead of staying in the office and twiddling your thumbs. Really? Oh well, thank you very much for the invitation. That's very, very nice of you. It's normal, and I need some company too. What do you think, bestie? I was very flattered by my colleague's proposal. We had only known each other for a very short period of time, but she had been the kindest and most open of all, which is why we had become close. For me, she was already my friend. Some days later, I found myself at Majo's house, with whom I was having a very good time. Apparently, she was in a relationship with a mysterious gentleman with whom I had never met. It seems to be like he was a very busy man, and of course, I had taken care to preach the gospel to my friend. She just made it clear to me that before making a decision to follow Christ, she had to think about it first. Something I granted her. The last thing I would want was to lead someone to Christ by force. I spent so much time at her place that that I almost forgot that I had a house. So on Wednesday, as usual, we were supposed to have a movie night. I had bought popcorn and Majo had promised that she would let me know where her boyfriend lives. But she didn't. I called, but the phone rang and no answer. Worried, I decided to get to her house. When I got there, the door was not locked. I feared the worst. When I said the worst, I thought of a robbery. But when I got closer to the room, I could hear someone crying. I prayed with all my strength and took my courage to my hands and opened the door slightly, calling her name. That's when she cried out, "Kimuya, please help me." I pushed the door, and there she was, laying in bed with a snake, a big python around her, ready to swallow her. The poor lady was in tears, laying down, motionless. Imagine for a moment how I felt. The fear of my life. I didn't even know if I could describe the feeling that I had. Fear, disgust at the same time. I was all in panic and I didn't know how to react. Suddenly I started screaming and calling for the neighbors, and luckily they were around and they gathered to come and help us. I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know I was dating a snake. He was telling me he was a businessman. These were the words that Majo had been repeating for weeks. She had met this man in a nightclub. And after one night, they were already perfectly in love. She was traumatized, and so was I too. My parents were in charge of getting her back on her feet. As for me, as far as twisted the stories are concerned, I had enough this year, and I don't intend to go through that for the rest of the year. I'm not thinking of going back home, but moving to another apartment, even if I'm a bit tempted to go back to see my mother and father, since I'm always welcome in their house, but I won't be able to run away for long. As for my protection is concerned, I am counting on the eternal God. This certainly is not a made-up story. Believe me when I say there are much worse stories out there. Being vigilant remains the only option, although the best is to have the Good Shepherd near us, Jesus Christ, because He is the true shield. Next year will be a new beginning, but I must leave this environment.